midfield. I had a
Oh,
tournament I had to do, and I forgot to let them know. So
not
my
the 7
bad, my
p.m.
bad.
screen.
So if Heavy Metal Gundam loses this, it's my bad. That's all I'm gonna say. But we'll see if that is the case or not as we're getting right into this game on Taiko Temple. Handless Dogs love this map. Wouldn't be surprised if they were the ones that picked it. It's going to be a Deadeye might start. So we might be seeing some KOs here. Going to see Asher Band and Atlas Band. So maybe a little bit more fun match as the Heavy Metal Gundam. I'm liking this comp right now. The Rasmus forward, rather, with the Luna goalie and the VYCE midfield up against the Dubu Rune X. Handless Dogs love these types of comps, and we'll have to see how it fares against the explosiveness of the Luna VYCE.
Yeah, and one thing that I'll note here is the rising popularity of the Luna Rune combo, which Handless Dogs, or I should say Heavy Metal Gundam, opted not to take. They took both. Oh my goodness, what a quick 15-second point. But going back to what I was saying is they opted in for the VYCE Luna instead of the Rune Luna. So I'm not sure if that is just a preference there, or if that is either a lack of practice, or maybe they just don't think it's as good. But I thought I'd point that out.
Yeah, I mean, definitely would be a good deny, especially for Mr. Flambeau, who is so good at that rune, so practiced at that rune. But one thing I do know is that Hungry Boy, not sure if they play the rune, but I do know they love, especially right now, this VYCE midfield, especially with this Deadeye, and they're running the siphoning one too. They're going full damage here with this Luna Deadeye. They want to be killing people as Nikki Minolin almost gets taken off, but is managing to get this orb and survive for now. The VYCE Primer are going to keep them low as long as possible, but Zay Forever is just keeping in the corner, but Weston doing basically everything, keeping Zay out of his barriers as long as possible, but the damage just keeps racking up. It's only a matter of time before somebody goes down, and will that somebody... Who is it going to be? The Banish coming through, getting Hungry Boy a little bit low as well. But Hungry Boy managing to find just the straight-up primary KO, but Nikki Minolin finds the return KO right on to back to Hungry Boy, who had the flip. So that's a huge KO in order to stabilize things here, Mystic.
Yeah, and might get taken out as well as the second barrier drops from the power play, or I should say it wasn't even a power play, it was just 2v2 in that exact moment here. But we can see, even though the defense from Weston is looking really good, oh my god, bounce around the whole world there, X. But the defense is looking really good from Dogs, but at the same time, we can see the attrition coming through from Heavy Metal, right? They're constantly chipping down, they're constantly getting the kills, and eventually it's going to lead to this situation where it's just too much damage, not enough elusives available, no energy at all to use, and something is going to give.
Something's going to give, and if it wasn't the core there, it would have been Weston's life if that VYCE primary hit him, but ended up scoring instead. So great play from Hungry Boy there to kind of checkmate him into that corner. Banish coming through here, going to be KOing Zay, but no, actually, the Taiko Drum going to be saving Zay Forever for now. The Taiko Drum as well, keeping him alive for now, but all he's really doing is getting knocked straight back onto his own side and gets KO'd into his own goal box. Nikki Minolin, great combos there with the X-Ult into the X primary in order to secure that KO. The Luna Ultimate and the Luna Dash going to be taking away Nikki Minolin now, and it's a power play for Heavy Metal Gundam. Mr. Flambeau looking incredibly low as well, and this is the damage we were talking about. This is the pressure we were talking about from Heavy Metal Gundam as they get another KO, but Nikki Minolin back online, as it is still going to be pretty much a perpetual 2v3 as Tragic just keeps laying down these rockets, keeps laying down these boosts. There's basically no rest for Handless Dogs, who lose their second barrier, and Zay Forever trying to put the nail in the coffin. Needs to be careful himself, though, as Nikki Minolin has shown it to find these KOs before and might find them again. Great Log going to be saving things for now. It's only a matter of time in this comp for Handless Dogs to be getting KO'd and to be giving away this goal, so they need to find something now. They need to find the second barrier, and a Great Pillar is going to be doing just that, as Mr. Flambeau on the rune definitely playing incredibly well, trying to keep this game alive for them, as Zay Forever trying to make something happen on that bottom side. Tragic onto Nikki Minolin, rather, almost finding the KO, and a great Luna ult going to be denying the energy there from this X. And so much is happening, but I feel like the goal is just not happening. But Mr. Flambeau again with the pillar, going to be finding that Banish into pillar, into that bottom side shot. Tragic just was not ready for it, and I mean, Handless Dogs managed to find that point.
Yeah, I mean, Mr. Flambeau is doing everything and anything he can to keep the core up. And right now, with how X kind of scales as the game progresses here, X is relatively weak. Oh my goodness, but the fully charged Supernova. Vaughn yelling at the top of his lungs there if you have that on. But gets the KO on the top there. Mr. Flambeau taken out, who was kind of the playmaker in these early points. So let's see if they can return back and make keep it going. But Weston is looking really low there. Gets stopped by the anomaly. Weston trying to just recharge his HP as much as possible. But a great banish gets the stagger going up. But you can see the way Zay is playing, looking for an opportunity to get the KO on the death touch or either the pendulum swing here. And now Nicky Millen finally returned. Not a good anomaly is going to kind of block off that defensive option here, and we are seeing the attrition come through once again. And I think it's really on Mr. Flambeau here to score, because right now Nicky Millen doesn't have the resources, and unfortunately it's not going to happen just yet, as this point's going to go over right back over to Heavy Metal.
I mean, every point's kind of looking the same. It feels like Heavy Metal Gundam just have the pressure. They have kind of the ball in their court the entire time, and it seems like it's up to them whether they lose or win, whether they can find the pressure or whether they, you know, get outplayed by the Rune Banish, or maybe X finds a random KO here. One thing that I think would help them is if they can keep the pressure onto Weston a bit better. I feel like if you can take the Dubu off the pitch, kind of the whole picture comes apart for Handless Dogs, who is doing a great job at keeping the pressure up onto the other brawler. Now Zay Forever looking incredibly low here. The Dubu trying to find the KO, but not quite going to be getting it yet, as the X and the Rune going to be getting great corner pressure, getting that barrier, but losing Nicky Minillen's life in return for it. So if the Dubu can hold here, this would be worth 4 seconds, and we'll have to see. Loses one barrier, Zay Forever gets the second one. It's going to be an even game now. No one is dead so far, as Nicky Minillen comes back online. The banish coming through onto the Rune and going to be going down. No, actually the VYCE managing to live, but the core going right past Tragic on the top side. I think Weston got the credit for that one, as he's been playing well all set, and he gets rewarded with the first pick as well.
I'm honestly surprised. I wasn't paying attention to the core. I just assumed that was going to come right back. I was taking a look to see if Hungry Boy got taken off the map or not there. But rewarded they are. We still have the EXP advantage over for Heavy Metal, so they're going to get the double pick here on pick 2 and 3. So Twin Drive is going to go over to Tragic, and then Reverberation, which is both CDR for more damage and also a deny away from the enemy team to prevent them from coming back anymore. But relatively pretty decent picks for everyone, if I do say so. We have a Spark picked up on Nicky Minillen, who is still just kind of needs levels to get back into the game, right? Has a low stagger pool early on where they can't do as much. And we talked about this in a previous match, where X kind of just exists, gets bullied all game, and then eventually gets to the point where they can participate again. And this is that type of game for X.
Yeah, X definitely waiting for their turn kind of in this game. But Nicky Minillen has been doing a great job at kind of staying involved as long as possible, even without kind of the best awakening so far. And with that Spark, might be seeing a little bit more action later on in this game. But that's if they can survive, as they're still just getting taken off. Mr. Flambeau finally respawning now. But Zay Forever now going to be the one getting bullied, battling out against Nicky Minillen, and again teeing up the VYCE Supernova for the KO onto the X. Now hunting for this last barrier. Weston just not have enough abilities in order to save this one. Great Evade trying to do something, trying to keep it out for now as the power play has come to an end. But Tragic just has basically every cooldown and one barrier to still stand with that Twin Drive on the Luna. Is kind of just sitting pretty here, taking out Weston now with the VYCE primary. Puts it right past Nicky Minillen, is Zay Forever who gets the credit for that goal. And Handless Dogs, I mean, seems like they have a little bit of life, but it's so hard for them to play every single point. I am not envious of them right now.
Yeah, and with the current defensive options in the Awakening pool, oh my goodness, the immediate on-spawn get KO'd from the Luna boost plus Rocket, and then Zay Forever that was there as well. I mean, everyone was there ready to participate in that point, but a great banish prevents the Supernova from going off here. Hungry Boy out of elusive, out of abilities as well, as running back as much as possible. The Siphoning Wand, honestly, the Siphoning Wand saved him there. I believe that if he didn't get that stagger back, the pillar would have taken them out. But another KO, I didn't even pay attention to that. They're down another man. Weston is also going to get taken off by the boost from the Luna, who has the Twin Drive. Most likely has another one to participate in this play here. The ultimate comes out. The rocket comes through. Not enough, as Zay Forever is just trying to get the damage onto Nicky Minillen. Most likely, yeah, I can just take him out with a single ability, as we are hunting for characters here and not for goals, as that seems to be the current motto of Heavy Metal Gundam.
Heavy Metal Gundam, I mean, kind of, you know, playing pretty intimidating, as their name suggests. Zay Forever now trying to find that goal maybe, but no, all the damage is still getting put through. But a great evade from Weston, going to be saving a lot of that, and a great save as well coming through this Dubu with the size, finding so much here in order to keep the core out of their net, finding so much time for their team to cook. But sadly, there's not much cooking to be had, as the Strike War getting lost from Nicky Minillen. Zay Forever, great speed, great play there on the Strike War into the top side. it feels like, you know, they're trying to come back into this game. They did not mean to lose that first set, and now that they have a little bit more damage, they have that twin drive on the Luna. They're primed and ready for it.
Yeah, and they have essentially two full levels on every single person. At least Mr. Flambeau got that that banish off to prevent the supernova, but even then, it does not matter as Mr. Flambeau is just sitting back waiting for the stagger to come through to get unstaggered. Finally gets it. One barrier as the anomaly comes in, and Nicky Millen finally participating as the X, not getting bullied for this second. But we can see how far, like, the way the damage is playing out is not only do they have to survive, but they have to participate in the play somehow. So if they're not KO'd, sometimes it's as if they're KO'd anyways, with how far back and how out of the map they have to play, essentially.
Yeah, definitely tough for them, but not tough at all right now. If you can find KOs like that, Nicky Minolan managing to keep things alive as they're finding that XKO onto Hungry Boy. Tragic now forced to use that Luna ult and basically everything in order to survive for now, but they should be okay as the flip comes through for Tragic, and a great boost keeping things away from Flambeau's hands for now. So Handless Dogs finding some breathing room, but still not quite finding the goal as Nicky Minolan has a chance there, but not quite able to have it as Hungry Boy puts it in. But a great flip from Nicky Minolan on the goal line, going to be putting it right towards Tragic. Pretty hard to save that one there as the X puts it through, and Handless Dogs keeping their chances alive from this set.
And that KO onto Hungry Boy was massive, getting essentially 2 levels worth of EXP out of it. Nicky Minolan got so much stagger, but it does, I'm not sure if it matters at this point. A great banish comes through, but no way to capitalize onto it, right? We aren't able to get the KOs as these banishes are coming more out of fear of dying rather than a way to set up a play. And we're not seeing the core kind of progress forward as the death touch comes through, but a bounce off the taiko drum saves Nicky Minolan, as Zay Forever is just going to keep barraging him to see if any additional damage can take them out. Oh, Zay Forever might get taken out here, but I'm not sure if the damage comes through. Enough hit stun actually protects Zay. And now that means it's a 3-on-1 against Weston, as one barrier might fall immediately. One barrier does. The second barrier falls. Looking for the play. Death Touch onto the Luna nuke as the Supernova comes out. A super banish from Mr. Flambeau keeps the play alive. But can Hungry Boy score with his energy burst here? And it is the power cord coming through that will protect the set going over to Heavy Metal Gundam. But there was a chance there. I thought Mr. Flambeau had a phenomenal banish on that point.
Yeah, Mr. Flambeau found a great banish, but one thing I want to talk about with Heavy Metal Gundam's comp, I think you kind of brought it up earlier, is not only do they have the heavy damage from the VYCE and the Luna, but the Rasmus forward, especially with that speed from the Super Surge as well, going to be helping a little bit, keeps the core control, I guess, kind of glues the comp together, right? We saw in that power play, they got the 2 KOs, but it was kind of hard for them to work around the Dubu there, but a great play from the Rasmus and just great core control whenever to keep that core on offense allows them to keep that core and to kind of get both barriers here. And I mean, take a look at this draft though. X does get spec and Dubu does get missile prop. Everyone kind of gets what they want here, but sadly, I feel like what Heavy Metal Gundam wants is more death, and there's not really much that Handless Dogs got to deny that from them. So I have a feeling we're going to be seeing a bit of a bloodbath this set.
Yeah, another great banish comes through as Hungry. Oh my goodness, a K onto Zay Forever, which means the prize fighter is now taken down a notch, back down to 0, out of an awakening for now, as one more barrier drops. Barriers are wide open, or gold gates are wide open, as we're looking for a play between the 2 forwards here on Dogs, but they're not able to find it. Hungry Boy is looking pretty low. You might want to capitalize on that if you can, or at least not allow him to get that health orb, but unfortunately, does not go through. Hungry Boy back into the play as Mr. Flambeau is looking for a pass down there. Mr. Flambeau, you cannot be there. You got to participate in the defense at the moment. Let's see if the pillars can come through. A banish comes through onto Zay Forever, unable to find it as the secondary from X is not going to land and then taken out immediately. Let's see if maybe we can get some stacks onto Mr. Flambeau so that he can make some more plays, but it might not go long enough with how these points are going.
Yeah, it might not go long enough. He gets the 41 stacks there, but the points are going to have to go a little bit longer than that, and Mr. Flambeau as well is going to have to avoid getting KO'd over and over again, which might be very hard as he has no energy, and the Luna does have the extra special and is going to be getting taken out immediately as I say it. Who could have seen it coming? The Luna nuke going to be doing wonders, but so is Nicky Minolan with that specialized training on the X. Going to be taking out Hungry Boy right away, and now it's a 2v2, and soon to be a 3v2 for a couple seconds as Handless Dogs just by the skin of their teeth holding on to this matchup, which should just be so incredibly difficult for them. Banish now coming through onto Luna, not going to be doing too much as Hungry Boy back again, putting up the pressure. And Mr. Flambeau kind of just trying to do everything here in terms of the core control, but it seems to be a little bit too difficult as it feels like there's just a power play every like 20 seconds minimum for Heavy Metal Gundam here, who are struggling to get this last barrier, though. Weston with the supersized Dubu here with the Pauldrons, definitely not having an easy time getting this barrier, as Nicki Minilin getting a great ultimate X Maximus here on Tuesday Forever, getting him incredibly low, but I don't think it's going to be amounting to much, as Mr. Flambeau incredibly low, but a great banish onto Hungry Boy with the Supernova, going to be keeping things alive for now, and they're managing to survive kind of better than before. And getting that last barrier is Handless Dogs, who have basically had almost no control all game, but they managed to keep the barrier with the heroics of Weston. But now it's another power play for Heavy Metal Gundam, who finally grab that last barrier, who finally have all the tools in their kit in order to maybe get this goal. And there it is, the pass into the top shot there from Zay Forever. Gonna be going over to Heavy Metal Gundam, who are now on set point.
Yeah, and then another kickoff they're gonna have to survive, as Tragic is gonna start off with the Deadeye extra special there. Damage coming through. Mr. Flambeau stuck, has the banish thankfully to stop that Supernova once again, but has no elusive left, no energy available to participate. Has to get both orbs and manages to do that before Zay hunts him down like this is a Dead by Daylight. It's looking tough for Handless Dogs here. Energy Burst comes through. A good KO onto Zay. Manages to get the energy completely gone and to play back in, as Mr. Flambeau got the EXP that he needed to level up a little bit more. And let's see if they can use this power play, but power play gone as Tragic comes through with the boost and now has energy and most likely a second boost to follow up here. Looking for another play. This is point game, or I should say, sorry, set point here, as the constant advantage going over to Heavy Metal. They're just walking around hunting for these KOs, Borg.
Hunting for these KOs, and Mr. Flambeau is next on that list. Might keep taken down very soon as the boost comes in, but a great orb take there, going to be keeping Mr. Flambeau alive for now, but the barrier is the thing that goes down here. Weston not going to be able to get it, but actually the Log, I'm pretty sure, managing to secure that last barrier for Handless Dogs, who managing to unlock the goal gates on the offensive side again for another point. But let's see if they can put it in. But as look at that, Zay Forever somehow through all the hit stun finds that bottom corner and puts it in. Weston kind of nowhere to be seen. And third set of the game going over to Heavy Metal Gundam. We'll have to see what comes up here in the draft. And there it is, the heavy impact for the VYCE. This is about to get very messy.
Yeah, and even with the recovery drone and Stagger Swagger available and the Spark of Resale, it might not be enough. Actually, not going for the heavy impact, opting in more for, hey, we have enough damage right now. We don't really need any more damage to get the KOs, so let's just deny them any defensive tools that are possible, right? And Zay Forever taking the only other defensive option there besides the Spark of Resale on the recovery drone, which is size and power on this Rasmus. We do see the 1-2 punch going over to Mr. Flambeau, which is a deny away for the damage, but like I said before, they have all the damage they need. Nothing is going to stop them in that exact situation, but at least Nicki Minilin approaching the 3k stagger mark with that Spark of Resale and Spark of Focus there, and maybe the extra CDR that they get will lead to them getting either more KOs or more attempts on the net, as we're already seeing two barriers drop.
Two barriers dropping already. One thing to note is that Mr. Flambeau did get the 1-2 punch on to the rune, so if the core keeps hitting these pillars, it's going to start getting really, really fast, or if we see a banish come through, the KO potential from that banish is going to be a lot easier. Now, as we see just a random little goal there off the center there, Mr. Flambeau, great redirect onto the middle, going to be bouncing straight into the goal. Tragic, not quite there in time, and I'm going to be honest, Mystic, I don't know how much I like this Stagger Swagger. Yeah, they have enough damage, but I feel like Stagger Swagger, when you're one-shotting the enemy anyway, isn't going to matter too much, and you're allowing them kind of to just live a little bit longer now by keeping your VYCE kind of hamstrung without getting heavy impact. I feel like that's a mistake, but we'll have to see, as the ball is still in their court, still on the enemy side here. Heavy Metal Gundam definitely still have a lot of potential to win this game here, but still cannot quite get that last barrier. And yet again, the Dubu holding and also managing to keep this, I mean, offense, or rather defense, alive. I can't believe it. The Dubu is doing so much.
Dubu's finally, I mean, everyone is level 10. They have as much stagger as they possibly can get, and if Nicki Minilin manages to get another set win into a Spark, that might end up leading to the game getting out of hand completely. But we do see the KO come out onto Flambeau, stacks a reset. That'll slow things down a little bit on the side of Dog. But Nicki Minilin has pretty much full energy. You can see it. That's another big difference as well, is the energy burst economy is looking much better for Handless Dogs, as they don't need to evade as much since they have so much more stagger available. Oh my goodness, a great pillar, but also a great deny from Tragic at the same time. The KO coming through. I mean, we're
Oh
seeing
my.
the KOs, but does that matter? This is the 1-2 punch you mentioned on the rune, right? Overtime 1-2 punch rune. Just a little bit of dribble play, no pillar necessary, or just goes too fast. Spots the spots the gold gates field goal between both Tragic and I think Hungry Boy were there. Send it right through.
Sends it right through, and with that 1-2 punch, I don't think that's really going in here. And as we see, Heavy Metal Gundam finds the pressure again, but I feel like the tools now that have been unlocked for Handless Dogs allow them to kind of find more to work with here, but Zay Forever trying to put it all stop to that, even though he's low, even though he's getting hit stun, finds both the goal barriers here and finds the KO onto Mr. Flambeau, which I believe is definitely the key to victory. KO the rune, and you basically have nothing to worry about, but they're about to do more than that. They're about to KO the Dubu as well. Here comes the boost flying in here. Here comes the core flip as well, but no, all the hook, the death touch is really all they're going to need, and a great placement on the strike there from Tragic. Core flip right through, avoiding the pillar and avoiding Mr. Flambeau himself. Heavy Metal Gundam are not done yet.
I mean, one thing in the favor of Dogs is that there was 2 energy bursts pretty much pop right there. You can see both Hungry Boy and Tragic have absolutely nothing available to them anymore. Although Zay Forever does have full prize fighter stacks. Oh my goodness, Tragic actually just saved Zay's life there as Flambeau went for the Banish pillar play to KO Zay. A little bit of a drive-by from Tragic prevented the pillar from fully forming here, and we're already seeing the offense come through as Zay's trying to go 1v3 on the front end. Gets taken down quite a bit in terms of the stagger, and so does Nicky Minolin. But oh my goodness, a dash onto there. Oh, there is so much stagger on this X that he's living for so long, but finally, after so many abilities, gets taken down. Will Zay follow as well?
God.
But no, the angle at which he goes prevents him from dying, being bounced into the corners, which are completely safe for him.
W Brawler there. Zay Forever living as long as possible. You know, I love to see that as Weston keeping the goal safe for now, but Hungry Boy is looking for that KO, trying to find this Dubu. If it's hard to score on him, then just kill him. But it looks like they're not going to have any opportunity to, as a great play from Mr. Flambeau. Nicky Minolin going to be keeping it on the offense there. And that was a little bit of a weird interaction with the Dubu wall there. The Unstoppable Fortress not quite living up to its name, but not much going to be happening here, as we have 1 barrier to none here for Heavy Metal Gundam, who might lose this last one here as Mr. Flambeau and Nick Minolin are closing in on the barrier, but no, it's actually going to be a great play from Hungry Boy. They're going to be getting everything out of Weston, and there's nothing left to save the core as Zay Forever and Tragic, great play on the bottom side, going to be putting it right through them to tie this up at 2-2, and now it's series point here.
Yeah, and it comes down to this. If they can win, if Handless Dogs can win this point, I think they're favored to win the whole game, with what awakenings they can scrap out from this next set, especially if Nicky Minolin can get another spark, like I said. But Zay Forever has the full stacks. He's just Rasmus with size, he's putting on the pressure with the pendulum swings, with Death Touch. Mr. Flambeau has no energy here. Still has surprisingly a good amount of stacks there. Uses energy burst. Zay get taken out, but he does get the barrier for his troubles, and that might just be enough as the play comes in. Unable to push it through. We're seeing the defense, no banish available, but the barriers are down on both sides. Power play is still up for another second as Zay Forever returns. Can Handless Dogs win this set, or will the damage from Heavy Metal Gundam come through?
Will the damage come through, and they're starting to get pelted now as the VYCE is taking Nicky Minolin down incredibly low here. Might get KO'd at any point, but the X is looking for one themselves, and Hungry Boy trying to find a play to find this goal, but no, the Dubu Wall going to be denying things for now, but a boost from Tragic comes in with the strike and trying to find the goal, and Hungry Boy with the follow-up manages to put it through Weston, and Handless Dogs going to be going to losers. Still has a chance, but Heavy Metal Gundam showing us that damage meta is back, qualifying to Liftoff.
Yeah, a little bit of an unfortunate interaction there by Weston on the top corner. The ultimate from Dubu did not push the core out, and then had to almost lock himself in with the core rather than deny the area altogether, which prevented them from, or which kind of gave them the opportunity for Heavy Metal to score there in that final moment. But overall, a relatively close game for how much damage was going on to Heavy Metal's side, right? We saw them take the first set through Mr. Flambeau and maybe a few mistakes here or there, and then managed to get almost another set there right at the end, bringing them over to set 5 if it went their way. Even though it was 3-1 and the damage was going crazy, we can see a total of what, 27 KOs. Handless Dogs did pretty well given the situation they were in.
Yeah, they definitely did a lot, and Weston, with the 123 saves and 216 redirects, kept them alive pretty much as long as humanly possible, I would say. Definitely not a bad performance whatsoever for the Handless Dogs. keeping them, I feel like a lot of teams would have just gotten run over there by Heavy Metal Gundam, but Handless Dogs managing to show they still got some teeth. They still have some options. Nicki Minnow finding a lot of the stray KOs, right? 6 KOs on the X tier against the full damage comp. So definitely well done there. But if you take a look over at Heavy Metal Gundam side, lots more KOs, lots more damage, lots more shots, lots more pressure. I think
Yep.
when you have more pressure, usually you win more games. And one thing I think is pretty funny about this too is if you look at the redirects, you kind of have the opposite archetypes here, right? Nicki Minnow going to be the one finding these KOs and pressure for Handless Dogs, only 139 redirects, but most of the damage in the KOs. Whereas Zay Forever actually has more KOs than both midfielder and goalie,
Yep.
and also, the least amount of KOs and damage from the team. So Zay Forever kind of taking the bulk of the core control there, bringing them to victory, and Hungry Boy and Tragic kind of the rocket, the artillery in the back, keeping things explosive. But pretty crazy match.
Yeah, and we have one more match coming up for winner semifinals. So Heavy Metal Gundam just got cleared for liftoff. Handless Dogs are going to go over to the loser side as they have another opportunity to take it over to liftoff as well. But on the other side of winner semis, we have BSB versus Woe Chills, and we'll see if they can take it on to liftoff for themselves after this quick break.